The Feminist Movement by Kayla Nadeau. First, I'll start off with defining what is a contemporary social movement. A contemporary social movement is a modern social movement where groups of individuals or organizations focus on political or social issues. Now, for a little bit of history of feminist movements. Before I jump into that, I want to describe to you or define to you what feminism is. Feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. Now, some of the movements. The first feminist movement gathering was in 1848. This very gathering was held in New York, where it was organized by Elizabeth Cady Stanton. About 100 people attended this gathering, while Stanton drafted up a declaration similar to the one of the United States that preached women's suffrage. The 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920. The 19th Amendment gave women the right to vote. Now, the Equal Pay Act was put into place in 1963. The Equal Pay Act made it illegal for employers to pay a woman less than what a man would receive for the same exact job. Now, which most of you might have heard of, Title IX. Title IX was introduced in 1972. Title IX stated, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from any participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." In 1973, abortion became legal. In the case of Roe v. Wade and Doe v. Bolton, the Supreme Court declares that the Constitution protects women's rights to terminate an early pregnancy, thus making abortion legal. Lastly, as of 2013, women are able to be on the front lines of combat, meaning we are now able to fight on the front lines alongside of men. Now, for the theoretical perspectives of feminism. I chose conflict and feminist. To describe conflict means gender inequality is rooted in the female-to-male power relationship. To explain a little more about conflict, Karl Marx is the founder of the conflict theory. The conflict theory interprets society as a struggle for power between groups engaging in conflict for limited resources. For example, conflict theorists make sure they emphasize the overlooked effects that could be put into place on people. For an example of that, conflict theorists will look at a larger picture such as not giving the women the right of pro-choice. With not giving people the option of pro-choice, this can affect people who cannot afford a child at that particular time. Now, I will describe feminist. The textbook states that women's subjectification is integral to society as a social structure. Also saying, a significant component to the conflict theory is this very feminist theory. In reality, the feminist theory has always been about viewing the social world in ways that eliminates the forces that create and support inequality, oppression, and injustice. Which means, in so doing this, it should promote and pursue equality and justice. For example, a feminist would want to eliminate all domestic violence, economic and political inequality, and rape. Lastly, or second to last, I should say, why sociology matters to feminism. When studying the feminist movement, sociology matters because it shows society how gender roles, discrimination, and sexism are affecting women as a whole. When it comes to gender roles, for hundreds of years, people have saw women lower than men. They have saw them as more motherly figures rather than working-class citizens that a male is usually portrayed to be. Discrimination and sexism can fall into the same category, because men were seen as superior over women. Women were not seen as people who were capable of completing the jobs of a male, which leads for them not having the right to vote for 70 years after a man was granted the right to vote, along with many more unequal rights. Lastly, sociology matters to feminism because it explains to society how we become feminine or masculine, and it also raises awareness of unequal treatment of all, men and women. Now, lastly, in conclusion, sociology has helped me a lot in all aspects of the world. It has helped me become a better person altogether. Sociology enabled me to understand society and opened my eyes to things I never paid attention to before. American sociologist C. Wright Mills said, "When studying sociology, we should always be using our sociological imagination." After understanding the term of sociological imagination, I learned how to take myself away from all the familiar things that we do in our everyday lives in order for myself to view life in a fresh new way. So therefore, to conclude with this, I encourage everyone to take a sociology course some point in their life, which it can be in high school, community college, or at a university. But sociology will open your mind and your eyes to the rest of the world. Thank you.